name's Jeff Nelson. I'm co-founder and CEO of OneGoal. We are a nonprofit organization based in the United States. But 9 years ago, I was a Teach for America Corps member teaching sixth graders in Chicago. This was my classroom. And in March of 2006, things were going well. We had just gotten our big state exam back, and my students, my 32 sixth graders, had made massive gains in both reading and math. So we had achieved or exceeded the significant gains benchmark that Teach for America had set. We were talking about university and high expectations and colleges all the time. Parent engagement was through the roof. We were closing the achievement gap, or so I thought. Fast forward 2 weeks later, in April of 2006, I remember going down to my car on my way to school, and I picked up the local newspaper, the Chicago Tribune, and I looked at the front page, I rolled it out, and the entire front page was filled with one picture. There were 100 silhouettes of students, and only 6 of them were filled in. And it was the first time any major city in the United States had actually tracked its college completion rates, and the number was 6%. In a city as big as Chicago, which has 400,000 students, only 6% of them were completing a university degree on time. 6. Honestly, if you had asked me the day before, what percentage of your students do you think will complete college, I would have looked at you with a straight face and said 80%, maybe 85. And this was the new reality. I went into my classroom that morning during silent reading, and I was literally trying to pick out which 2 of my 32 students would complete college, which 2 of my 32 students would have any shot at the middle class in our country, which 2 would achieve even the most basic of American dreams. Needless to say, that day and this number dramatically changed my life and my career. Less than a year later, we had co-founded an organization called OneGoal, designed at the front end to dramatically and systematically change that number. We did what most entrepreneurs do well in their first year. We obsessed and we studied. And we looked at 800 organizations in the sector across our country that were trying to build a transition between high school and college. Organizations that for decades had been trying to change these numbers. We saw a lot of good work, and then we saw some huge gaps. So the first thing that we noticed very, very fast was that you could categorize every single one of the 800 interventions as either high outcome and high cost, or low outcome and low cost. There was not a single intervention that was consistently delivering outcomes that were high, that was really scalable. The second piece here was basically the why. Of 800 organizations, think about that, 800 organizations in the country, not a single one was delivering content through highly effective teachers. So when kids were being trained how to actually get into college and stay there, every time they were being taught that information by a non-expert. So a volunteer, a mentor, an overworked counselor, overwhelmingly was the intervention, and rarely when a teacher was even used, the quality of the educator didn't matter in the model. So because of that, huge variation in outcomes based on the talent, plus way more expensive than it needed to be, because training a non-expert to do something like this is very hard. The third piece was that because of the second part, any kid that was deemed at risk at all, academically or non-academically or both, was left out of the college puzzle. So nothing was really a systematic solution. So I think our network breakthrough was to build an organization that did exactly that. So we identify really effective teachers that are already teaching high school students in a content area, and they are getting big outcomes already. We find hundreds of them in a given city, and we train them to teach low-income high school students how to get into and through college. OneGoal is delivered as a 40-minute credit-bearing class every day of junior year and every day of senior year. And then during freshman year of college, the same teacher, the same students, and all of the content move online, and a high-performing teacher is delivering proactive support and teaching and coaching all the way through the first day of sophomore year in college. We target students within a city that typically have a less than 5% college completion rate. In the last 8.5 years, 84% of our participants have enrolled on time in college. Of those who have enrolled, 77% are persisting or have completed their degree. And this isn't some nice little charity. Today, in 9 months, we'll be up to about 10,000 students a year. The year after that, we are building a plan with minor adjustments in our scale trajectory, gets us up to serving 100,000 students a year in about 6 years. If we could do that in the US and maintain even close to our completion rates, OneGoal directly would move the needle for college completion in the United States in aggregate. A few months ago, the president was asked, tell me about replicable solutions in the college access and completion space that need to be built. And the president referenced one of our students, Caleb, and asked this rhetorical question, which was, what would happen in this country if every single young person like Caleb actually completed their college degree? And we intend to find out. Thank you.